Good god, why am I doing this to myself? This is my second most used gun in all of Fanny Forces. The M60 Spam Gun 2.0, more specifically the M60 E6, is an American general-purpose machine gun that is chambered in 7.62 by 51 NATO. It was produced way back in 1957 and most notably served in the Vietnam War. It is still used by modern military today, although the M249 SAW is more common to see nowadays. In-game, the M60 is the unholy hellspawn that Stylus created that is as old as the game itself. You get it as soon as you reach rank 19, which is the scary part. Almost everyone you see has the potential to pull out such a devastating force. You thought shotguns are already overpowered. The M60 takes that to a whole nother level. You know it's that powerful when Oscar himself says that it is arguably the best gun in the game. Almost everything about the M60 reeks about being American. Mainly its weight and firepower. However, in true American fashion, it's somewhat slow. It has a warp speed of 12 studs per second. This is the same as some of the LMGs and sniper rifles. It also has a reload rate of 8.1 seconds regardless of ammunition. Similar to what I said in the intervention video, do not get caught in the open while reloading. And while some people complain about the slow reload, I simply say you get used to it. Hide behind cover when reloading to prevent yourself from being killed outright. A rule of thumb that I established for myself when using guns with high ammo capacity is to reload when your magazine is halfway empty. After I go down to around 40 rounds, I take cover and reload. You would still have bullets to shoot at your enemies whenever you are reloading. Do not dump the entire 100 rounds, because all you have left is your somewhat reliable secondary and your melee weapon. As for the sights, it's best to use the Z point as soon as you unlock it. Alternatively, you could hit T and use the alt aim feature to bypass the sight issue. The M60 has very decent damage values. It has a maximum base damage of 40 and a minimum of 26. Not only that, the M60 has a torso multiplier of 1.1, making it one of the most devastating weapon in the game next to the 50s and shotguns. Using the M60 excessively could spawn a generous amount of salt from your enemies. Usually they would start off about saying something about the M60 spam before getting really pissed off at you for being top scoring with it. But I digress. The M60 has a muzzle velocity of 2800 studs per second. This value doesn't matter, since you're going to be drowning your enemies with some good old 7.62 NATO. As for ammo pickup, you can pick up ammunition from other LMGs and anything that uses 7.62 NATO. Other than that, it can't pick up ammunition from everything else. But then again, you would probably die before your 250 reserve bullets run out. The M60 has a minimum time to kill at 100 milliseconds. What's terrifying is that it contains that same time to kill up to 120 studs. That's right, it keeps its base damage value for up to 120 studs. No wonder most people hate facing up against this thing. Now for the modifications. To make the best out of the M60's potential, you need the DCL 120 50 caliber sight. That's right, the DCL 120 was supposed to be mounted on 50 caliber guns, namely the M2HB Browning machine gun. Overall, the DCL 120 reduces the recoil while having minimum zoom, making it much easier to use. Muzzle brake since vertical recoil is extreme without it. Holding grip to reduce camera and visible recoil. And finally, the new almighty blow laser for improved hip accuracy, recoil recovery, and recoil itself. So how do you play the M60 Spam Gun 2.0? It's simple. Always have your M60 out, and if you see an enemy, spray your bullets at where you think he would be. The M60 has enough wall penetration to hit anyone behind almost any cover. Reload every time you have around 40 rounds left and keep firing. If you're in a tight corridor with a group of enemies, hold M1 until you or your enemies die. And that is how you use the M60 Spam Gun 2.0. Stay tuned for the next Phantom Forces gun review. Like if you find this useful, and subscribe if you want to see more Fanny Forces content.